o'clock now, and we're looking at the market review. Today, we'll continue our conversation and this time look at the implications of the COVID-19 pandemic on the Nigerian petroleum industry and also deep in the energy sector, which is very critical for our country. With us to continue this conversation and lead us into how the pandemic will impact the industry and the outlook ahead is Mr. Olugbenga Odusanya. He's the Executive Vice Chairman, COODSynergyn Oil West Africa. Good morning, sir, and nice to have you, sir.
Good morning,
Yes, good morning. And still in the studio with us is Mr. Bosun Mofaye, CEO of Frontier Africa Reports.
Thank you for having me. Good morning. How are you, sir?
I saw your tweet yesterday about the highly inflammable issues that we need to look at. Yes, the oil and gas sector, yes. So, Mr. Olugbenga, it's lockdown phase 2, day 10. How has the experience been so far?
Well, experience can never be betrayed, especially when you're expecting a total lockdown nationally for another 14 days. As yesterday, resolved at the governor's forum. So far, I don't know what to say. It's really boring, but you just have to make up to something. Maybe read more books, do more research on your project, and then stay in good health and keep well. Because you're better off than the next person that is in the rescue for ventilator. It's free to go.
I think reading more books, Otto. I think that's one great suggestion.
Yes, you brought 2 books yesterday.
I brought 2 books yesterday. I'm trying to do some reading. I think the reading culture, maybe this is the time to get everyone to embrace more of the reading culture. You know, with telephone and Netflix and Roku
Twitter,
TV and
Snapchat,
Twitter and what have you. Instagram. The world, the reading culture all over the world is going down. Maybe this is the time to even get kids to read books in hard copies.
Families can read together and discuss together.
Yeah, begin to get them to read more. Maybe this is one good thing that we should all look at as the positive side of the coronavirus. Get kids to pick books and read them in hard copies rather than just sitting in front of the television all the time. Maybe we can just get our reading culture in Nigeria a little bit up and running by this time.
Yeah.
Maybe. Just my thoughts, by the way. Your
thoughts. Even though it's also important that people are given some important provisions that can help keep them on to read.
You know, reading just give you that glucose, that sugar, the energy for the brain, mentally intuitive, very sharp. You read books. If you look at the big names in the industry, Richard Branson and the rest, they still read books in hard copies.
It's true.
It's amazing. When I had an opportunity, and just 1 minute very quickly, when Babatunde Fashola was the governor of Lagos State, I had a privilege one day to interview him, and it was about getting into his car, and of course the door was already open at an event, and he was seated at the back, and I had a chance of looking inside this Jeep. This SUV, and beside him were numerous books, but at the back, by the tinted screen at the back, was a whole library. I was shocked. In fact, I never knew that
a governor could have that time, despite his business schedule.
Personal vehicle is a library. And I said, sir, you still read this much?
Even as a governor?
Even as a governor, and he his car, I thought he's going to be having all kind of books and books and books and books were all in the car, even at that level. So which means that every opportunity he has in moving from one meeting to the other, when he was the governor of Lagos State, he's always reading.
I recommend he still does as a minister, and that's a challenge to everybody.
He does as a minister right now.
Challenge, we should invest in reading. And
maybe lockdown. Thank you so much for getting us back in reading culture. But let's get down to the business of oil and gas. By the way.
So we're looking at interesting developments that have occurred, as you can see. I mean, they said it was jaw-breaking, and you tweeted too, and a lot of people talked about it. Over a 300% crash in the US WTI oil price. We're looking at $0 per barrel, and it's now ranging between $0 to $10. But for the Brent, which of course impacts Nigeria, it's still around $24 to $26 per barrel. We just want to first look at the impact of the global oil price shock so far on the Nigerian petroleum industry as it ties to the Saudi Arabia and Russia price war and, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic.
The question again.
Okay, so we were talking about the fact that it has been an interesting time. The COVID-19 pandemic, on one hand, has now impacted, aside the Saudi Arabia-Russia price war, has impacted crude oil price. I mean, US, we saw 200% crash to around $0 per barrel, between $0 now to $10. Yeah. And the Brent is still ranging between 24 to 26, below our even revised benchmark for our budget, which was 57 before and now $30 per barrel. So how is this impacting the Nigerian petroleum industry at this point?
You have said it all. You know, when you talk about Saudi Arabia, you know, they are subsidized. And they've been doing that for a long time. For Shell gas from the US, that is next to nothing. As of yesterday, I realized it's minus. That's 27 minus 27. For Nigeria, the latest I got is 13. And I know that there's a lot of parties and vessels, even where the OPEC Secretary General, I think, said that they have a lot of coastal vessels sitting down there, not for sale. So, obviously, the impact is obvious. That what we are getting into now is just to looking for participants in that way. As we are being told earlier by CBN, and then going to agriculture, going to more, so that we can maintain the balance of trade, balance of, and then the deficit, because it is getting bad when we have oil and we cannot sell it. I know there are official trade whereby there have been, you have hedged against $24. The market seat now is $13 to $15, and it's not even been bought. Because where is the movement? I mean, if fuel has to run or something, and whenever everything is tight and locked down globally, then definitely the outlook is not promising at all.
So the outlook is not looking promising at all, and we've been debating, discussing reforms in this sector for over 2 decades, if I'm correct, or even 3 decades, yes. And particularly looking at the issue of the deregulation, full deregulation of the downstream sector. Yeah. I mean, we had the PIB, and it has been stuck over time. Political interest and all that has really stalled what should have been something that would have turned around our industry with beautiful plans. I mean, right from the times of Rilwan Olugbenga as petroleum minister, even down to Edmond Daukuru and the rest. They've worked out this document to see how we can revamp this industry.
We've been at this reform 1 step forward, 2 steps backward for 10, 20, 30 years. Yeah. So do you think this gives us a very good opportunity to take it all on board and do the entire industry a reform that we've been trying to? Do you think this is the breaking the glass ceiling, as it were, for us, with the reality of minus zero oil price, that we should just be brave enough and have what it takes, the political will, I don't want to put that political will, to just do this deregulation once and for all, clean up the industry and empower it? Well, what are your thoughts? What practical steps do you think the government should take beyond the announcement that fuel subsidy regime is over?
You said it now.
You're the professionals. We're looking for action points here. Yes, if you have some action points that will help us do the reform and bring investment, if you're giving government advice at the moment, beyond just announcing that petrol prices are down to 125 naira per
125 now 122,
and then the fuel subsidy is out, in concrete terms, who should do what, and how quickly do you think we should do this?
Policy. Now, when I say break the glass, it means that you have said it at the PIB. The regulation is part of the PIB. And that is why I always emphasize that the best thing for us to do is to just deregulate the market and then pass the PIB, the Petroleum Industry Bill. Because by the time you do that, a lot of investors will come in. and look at the huge turnout that is coming out from it. But if you hold on to it, if we hold on to it, we can't move. So the Senate, the government, the executive, and the legislation has to look at it now to revisit it and look at how they can just balance it. In the meantime, they talk about the regulation in a way. Backdoor. So the backdoor means, okay, when I put all the transportation industry to be using CNG for gas, and then measure on, fuel appearance, there's no backdoor. You regulate the market, and that's my advice, and pass the PIB and let investors come, because if I know that I will get value for my money, the IRR is going to be promising, I'll come back and invest. Same thing is what is happening in power. Maybe an IPC, give me a PSG, and then let me invest in your country. If I don't get a partial guarantee, why would I want to, So we need to deregulate that market now so that we can start seeing, its benefits.
Yeah.
It's high time now.
I know we've talked about deregulation. Yes, my apologies. My apologies for cutting in. We've talked about deregulation. It's one big word on the street. When we say deregulation, would you kindly give us some of your specifics that we need to do? Deregulation. Are you saying we should unbundle the NNPC, privatize part of it, sell it on the stock exchange, perhaps go the way of the Saudis with Saudi Aramco? What are the specific do you think that we should, specific actions here? And how quickly do you think we should do it? Should we do it this year? Should we do it in the next election? Should we wait for the next administration to do it? The PIB is just one of it. But right now, we need to do something in the year 2020. That's my point. That's our point here. What should we do this year, 2020, now that the oil market, the entire industry have shown that we've been swimming naked all these years and all these decades? That's my point.
Yeah, very good point. And the truth is that if you look at what you have enumerated earlier on, and bundle the NNPC, that was exactly what is in the PIB. All the subsidiaries, all the five, the gas and power, the downstream, the upstream, they have about 6 or 7 directorates. So, it needs to, I remember one time that they were saying even the Chinese were trying to, when they wanted to unbundle it and buy it up and then, sell it so that people can run it as a, private partnership. Well, for me, I was going to be direct, and it's just an advice. In my opinion, what we need to do is to immediately unbundle them. Maybe start with the downstream. You can't do everything at once. Start with the downstream. Start with the gas area, the gas and power directorate, and then individual. That is part of the regulation and privatization. Individual, take it over. Let investors come in, start running it. If you want to dilute, maybe you keep like you do for all the other sectors, the power. If you keep some percentage, then give them free hand in the management and everything. And then from there, we can start having traces that people will start coming. You see, all we need, even talking about this regulation, is to invite investors to come. And the only potential for anybody to say I want to invest in the economy is that when I can sell, it's a free market, when I can sell my product, get my money, and then go out there and flat back. But if it's not happening, that somebody still hold on to their and the central power will come out today and say, this is what I'm going to do, and then I would encourage. We see a lot of investors, we see a lot of in the market, and tell us their constraints, and their constraints is all I know is notice. So on bundle number one, that's the area to go to the NNPC itself. Start with 2 or 3 of the downstream. Generally the downstream. Then you move on to the upstream. And then especially the gas and power, because we need gas for power, we need gas for. So, where investors are looking for, I know that there is Quality. They've been looking for investors now for a while. There are enough gas I think in the so they have gas in there. There's nobody coming. They said contracting, trying to compare to see who and compare. Nobody wants to fly gas from where? From so just need to unbundle this company. They are government. They just And that's what we are talking about.
So,
because at the end of the day, my diesel that we buy and all that form of power that I discussed earlier, by the time you look at the cost, when I'm buying my petrol at about 30,000 now, maybe it's 145 now it's 125, it won't bother me because I know I have steady power to do my manufacturing, I have steady power to back up my power to. That's the area I do work on that. In November, I seated in the city there. There are constraints, very political. We need to unbundle.
okay, I hear you very well about unbundling. So what are your thoughts around the fact that we've had this price modulation? I mean, we had 145 for about 2-3 years ceiling, and now we have 125 initially, and then 123 from the Petroleum Price Product Regulatory Agency, PPRA. What are your thoughts around this? Because it could be, again, part of policy philosophy.
Is the dropping, you know, when the price drop, and we import our MS, the next thing that will happen is that it's a good precedent because you replicate it into the consumer market for them to benefit from it.
Yeah.
But my fear is when it goes up, what happens? Because we didn't budget $10, $13, $24, no, the budget has even time so. Now it's dropping, and the market is, I mean, they are trying to say, okay, how much we buy CMS from wherever we import CMS from, either Venezuela, America, China, is the price. Now, our cost has dropped. We want to reflect on the consumer, I mean, and to the populace. Yes, when it goes up, with all that has just happened on 19 now, you want to increase it, again, it comes back to the regulation. Because if that is in place, if the price of crude oil goes up, the market, or it drops, the fluctuation does not affect anybody. I mean, I know that I'm buying my PMS at 150, 120, 130. I'm used to it, and it's available for me to buy. So, again, we come back to the same point that you just have to regulate the market.
So it's about the regulation.
Yes, it's about the regulation. I'm sure we are walking a very tightrope here. Nigeria is considering the stoppage of crude oil production. If this happens, I'm not too sure. We've seen this since the Civil War. I wasn't. I was born around that time, so I had no experience whether Nigeria will stop crude oil production during the Civil War. Yeah. So perhaps this is the first time in my lifetime that Nigeria will be considering stopping crude oil because there's nowhere to store it, nobody's buying, the prices are at the bottom of the barrel. So how bad do you think this is for the industry, for our joint venture agreement, for everyone within the industry space, if we have to halt production? I mean, shut down the oil wells onshore, offshore.
I know it's getting bad, but let me know that in the last 1 or 2 weeks, I see Shell, the Canada has been shut down. I think on the other crude that we produce, is it quite more Shell module? I think they stop as well. I read yesterday that Emmy in brass. You know, so yes, these are the implications of all this. One, we know we have our own indigenous problem in the Niger Delta. Now, the global invisible JV, resource sharing contracts are already, concluding at force majeure, there. Listen to the bell, it's ringing.
Okay, so what's your own company, Mr. Olugbenga? What's your own company, COODSynergyn, doing within Nigeria's energy space, whether it has to do with hydrocarbon or with the power sector? What are you guys bringing to the table that you think will help you navigate this COVID period, but still be important? Whatever happens, the world, Nigeria still need energy. We need power. Our level of insufficiency is no longer news, so everybody knows. So are you partnering with the government? Are you partnering with private sector investments? The EFDB, for example, the African Development Bank, is doing quite a lot in a number of African countries, including Nigeria, supporting power at various levels. What do you have on the ground?
Good, thanks, my person. Now, you see, there are two sectors of our business. The first one is the downstream, which is the oil and gas. The second one is the energy, which is power. They are both energy anyway, which is power generation. But let me give it to you. We start with the oil sector. For over 20 years now, COODSynergyn has the power to give some kind of, they call them octane booster and injector cleaner. We've been partnering with the federal government, which is the NNPC arm, and we've been with them since 2006 or 2008. Well, NNPC does not have their own lubricant. They bring their own, they only does fuel. I think in February, they launched a lubricant. But before they launch their lubricant, we sell our fuel additive, the injector cleaner called Synergyn and octane booster in that area to them. And then other marketers like Orlando, we have like AP, a few of the major marketers, they sell our product. And in a way, our contribution, the industry is that, in the UK, you will have FEMAX, which is for Total, you have BP on the run, which is the random number that increase the power of your fuel. Because of the cars we use in this country and globally. Now, the run is supposed to be between, that is the random octane number, 87, minimum of 86 to 90. But some of these high power cars, like Boston and all of them uses, has about 95. The trouble the oil. So maybe an octane to power it, to perform to that level for you. So these are the kind of items you see abroad that have to buy at the gas station. But we try to bring it down and say you can store it, you can have it as an add-on in bottle in your car, so that when you need it is when you use it. You don't have to go to the station to fill your gas and buy it. So it's not part of our products, and we sell these to outlets of the market, and it's been very encouraging. We've done a lot in India. I remember one time when Orlando has with the fuel, I think it was brought about 5-7 years ago, and then they had to return it. We picked up some of those because that was the time we signed an agreement with them, and then we were giving it to the random octane number they brought them was about 70. I can't remember really. I know about 74 to 76. And then I think DPR said it was treated. But our product worked very well in that area. Not only that, again, even for other markets, for also for NNPC. So we contributed in a way, and are still on it, to make sure that the kind of fuel you buy, if you add our Synergyn product from your car, it doesn't allow the injector. The ground octane and injector, it's normal. If you look at our roads and the highways, there's a lot of traffic. And most of the cars we have back home here, where I'm sorry to say they are second-hand cars, so you need more of a clutch that can allow you to run more than the number when you are in traffic. That's what the injector does. So our contribution in that area is to enhance the performance of your car and to remove all the clogs, the takes and everything is efficient and allows it to work very well. And that's been going on for us in terms of revenue and also in terms of contributing to our social CSR country.
So,
looking at who and we partner. While on the power side, I mean, we've done this to a level of maybe 10, 14 years now, and we look at it again and what can we add again to the industry? How can we allow power supposed to? I'm sure it's obvious to you that Nigeria, the owner of Porto has to have interest to go and buy a good. So that's what we are doing now. We have looked at power and to generate back to the state. And the only thing we can do is to bring power to my state and from the state. Because the hub of Lagos, the commercial hub of Lagos, when you leave certain areas, I mean, you move them down, you see all the industries situated there. And that's why Lagos are local. They are working now, they're working now together. So they are trying to provide power. And the average looking at putting the infrastructure, which is the Agamo Expressway, down from nursing food, up down with the wood. Power is needed. The last power is needed. Before we are discussing about some stakeholders there now. So, in a way, we have COODSynergyn have contributed and is still contributing their kind of closer to the economy to make sure that, because if you don't have power, what can you do? I mean, you know what, if you generate 3,000 plus, it's not enough for any industry. So most of the ICP, most of the industries now, what they is to bring their own power. Estate, so we need power. So in both sides, I mean, you can see that we are trying to put our quota, just in that encouragement. The finance side, like you have said, ABB, yes, we are looking at them because we have a good partner, which is Wasilla Corporation worldwide, Nigeria. They have intense, in the because they have an arm of them called Wasilla Development Financial Services. So we are joint development partners on this project, and they've been coming up strong. Our regulations now, we need about 4 of them, which is TCN, ESA, which is GACN, gas aggregation, ASI, and then we negotiate how our gas give us, which is through GACN to give us the supplier, probably share of that axis of the body. And then we go to Nigerian gas, who transport the gas. So, all these are being in place. We have done the TCN evaluation study. So we have moved. But you need to complete some sector, some kind of, tick the boxes, let me put it out, before you can get to the likes of ADB, the likes of AgriExim, and other fund manager on the table, which I know our partner, is capable of getting funding for the financial closure. So in a way, COODSynergyn, like I said, we've been contributing and will continue to contribute. We're also giving our own CSR on the oil and gas sector. We partner with some, even NTD most times, during Christmas, during this period as well of COVID-19, have been our best.
Okay, Mr. Olugbenga, so as we look at the industry, can you just in 3 minutes tell us what you see as the outlook for the petroleum and also the energy sector, considering the fact that you're also a stakeholder post-COVID-19?
You're talking about the outlook now.
Yes,
what
sir.
to expect and the impact.
Yes, sir.
Well, for me, I mean, there's no I'm not going to look at the visible anymore. Then we have to talk about what is achievable and visible. For now, I see the outlook. If you look at what early in the year, I think it was Deloitte and Touch. They highlighted a lot of things. Like 2015 boom you are still recovering from. Now it's 2019. So the recovery stage for me is the weakening economic growth. I would say that we need to intensify the tension now by making it good for indigenous constraints that we have, maybe on the Ogoni, on the Niger Delta side. I mean, that has to be stepped down now so that we can recover fully. Because there's no way, that you can have trade tensions. Today, you hear that Pegasus wants to, also start to put in a box now and seal it up. Let us look at how we can develop, how we can raise funding, bring in more injections, more investors in the industry. There's a weakening economy. Yes, there's COVID-19. Yes, the price of oil has been dropping. Diversified, like I said as well. Let's go into the agricultural side. Let's build our factories. And I see them coming up with a lot of the incentives. Maybe 50 billion from the national, which is also about agriculture. I see the other intervention on pharmaceutical, which grow our industry, support the power sector, bring in gas. The transmission. Just now that most of the power stations that we used to step down are just being. You remember that I think during that time it was about 100 it's about it's about containers that was held down. This period, President ordered to release all of them from the force. They started having the power stations where the power stations are now, they are installing 1.2 and PKVA, all of the capital that we need to step down power to the consumer. So, like I said, we ourselves have our own constraints as a country, but we have to go over it. And the only way to go over it is to call up all these ideas of the parachute strike, Pegasus strike. Forget about that for now. The damage the political enemy has done is enough to let us know that God is supreme. For whatever you do, if anybody in February or January, well, we know what China has started it. All this will happen. Like sitting down for 6 weeks, waiting for another 2 weeks, definitely will say no. No about it. So in that area, we can all come down now that can anybody come out now to say I want to go on strike? No. It needs to be collective now. Come together and resolve the economy. And then also the political aspect of it as well. It needs to be stepped down as well. We need to look at how people don't allow, the political aspect of parties or need to affect the decision government makes. And no criticism.
Okay, so
I can bring in investors for in the market. We have to list some of these unbundling companies who have discussed on the stock exchange. Go ahead. And recently, the stock exchange that become a PLC did expect an earning income now. It is there. So we need to shove up most areas. But mostly, let's just start looking down into somewhere else like we are doing past the oil. Because the future for now is not bright. To my opinion, I think we should look at these 3 areas, which I know that the Lord has also touched. To give us a straightforward answer where we are going. We know where we are coming from. So determining where we are going shouldn't be a problem.
all right. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Olugbenga Odusanya, Executive Vice Chairman, COODSynergyn Oil West Africa. I mean, we hear from you the need to fully deregulate the sector, starting from downstream, even unbundle part of the state oil company. Yeah, we hear from you the need for a very coherent economic policy and the political class to rally the whole country at this time together. So, I mean, those are incisive points which, and even gas, really address the issues around gas for the power sector and provide those guarantees for those investing in the power sector.
Very important.
Yes.
Very important.
Yes.
Very important.
Thank you very much for your...
I think no investor want to come there to say without having a kind of guarantee. So we need to we need to gradualize and also, I mean, power is the government, it's for the government. So if you give a guarantee, it's not out of the box. The government is supposed to have power. Then the private sector bring it in. Then we need some form of comfort. Investors need some comfort. So it's very key as well. So the regulation is key. Like that. Power guarantee, government service guarantee is key. Bringing investors in terms of gas, in terms of power generation.
So thank you very much, Mr. Olugbenga Odusanya, Executive Vice Chairman, COODSynergyn Oil West Africa, for those very incisive contributions. And Mr. Bosun,
thank you so much.
Of course, it's been nice having you, CEO of Frontier Africa Reports. You've all discussed extensively the whole issues. Highly inflammable, but need to address those issues. Thank you very much in the petroleum sector. And that will be all for the conversation today on the market review, where we looked at COVID-19 pandemic implications for the petroleum industry and the energy sector. It has been wonderful having that conversation. And this is to our viewers that ProShare has for you a platform where you can continue to get insight and information on the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the global and Nigerian economy. All you need to do is to log on to proshareng.com/COVID-19 and you get all those data and analysis as they come. Till we come your way again, thank you for watching. Have a nice day and stay safe.